Hey, this is Notser, and this is the Tier 10 U.S. cruiser, Des Moines. It has 9 main guns, 12 secondary guns, 48 AA guns, a top speed of 33 knots, total health 50,600. For my modules, reduce crit chance on main battery, increase main battery accuracy, rate of fire, reduce the chance of flood and fire, faster rudder shift, concealment. For my commander, situation awareness, basic firing training, faster turret traverse, superintendent, advanced firing training, and concealment again. We are on the map Shatter, and I've got another tier 10. And it's supposed to be really crappy. Or so I've heard. Well, maybe this game will change your mind. Notice that I used a rate of fire module on my Baltimore. I was rocking the range, but the turret traverse was just borderline that I could get by with a faster rate of fire and overwhelm the enemy. And you really do overwhelm the enemy. If you catch out any destroyer, any cruiser for that matter, they're basically dead in a couple salvos. The ship is pretty impressive. Not in range though. Our range is pretty crappy. It's around 15.8 kilometers. So overall, I'm trying to get close to the target. Now I'm rocking the new camouflage. For those who don't know, there was like a micro patch that has the Soviet cruisers in it. However, as a non-community contributor, I don't have access to try it out early. And there's no real stats you can look at. So it's a little bit frustrating, but you know what, it's whatever. We've got a Des Moines. We've also got another tier 10, and you'll see a video tomorrow. We are getting there. We have progressed a lot since the very beginning, and it's not going to stop. Now, this enemy Iowa is sort of headed south. We were headed north. We were hoping to run into a destroyer. There's a lot. Okay, 6 on the enemy team. It's great that I'm in a U.S. cruiser because they do a great job against destroyers. But what's the deal? Why are there so many destroyers? We get a fire, and just look, we're able to fire on the enemy target, have the shells in the air before they even make contact. And as long as we compensate correctly, we're able to do pretty significant damage. Notser, don't run into the island. He wasn't even close to run into the island, Notser. Come on. Come on, you gotta relax, okay? Well, instead of finishing off the Iowa, which is not very easy, we're gonna go off to the Atago, and we're switching to AP on the broadside Atago, because he doesn't want to maneuver at all. So we had HE initially. This is an AP salvo. We did 5,300. No Citadel, but it does pretty good damage. Now the Atago, of course, re-angles, realizes, oh no, we are getting flanked by an enemy Des Moines. I don't want to deal with that. So with HE loaded, we get a fire, and we do about 2k damage, which is pretty good. And I would love to finish this guy off before I move on to the Iowa, or those 2 destroyers that are on the east side of the map. The Atago is trying everything he can. And Notser, don't run into the island. They're just everywhere, okay? You can't take your eye off the prize. And whoa, whoa, Notser. There's an enemy destroyer right next to you. But nothing else matters. Finish off the Atago. We've got an island that could block the torpedoes by that enemy destroyer. And I am fully aware. I do a quick glance. We don't quite finish off the Atago, but the fire will burn him down. Good. Enemy Kagero is about to come around the island, and we've got both front turrets facing him, and he's facing us. Oh, well, look at what we got there, and we miss. We need to raise the gun a little bit. You always need to compensate for the targets. Okay, that's better. We knock out steering and propulsion. Probably going to force out damage control if it's available. Oh, 3,600. We're going to burn him down, or we're going to fire on him. Yeah, we actually kill him with our guns. See you later, enemy Kagero. So the enemy Iowa is still alive, not on fire. We're gonna change that. Let out our first salvo, and we're trying to lead the target. Oh crap, there's an enemy destroyer right next to us. Another Kagero. We've got to get on top of him. He sends out his torpedoes, and they're scouted out by our aircraft, so we're able to dodge it. We do pretty significant damage with the first salvo. Second salvo takes out his front gun. And there's absolutely nothing he can do. He's going to die to the might of the Des Moines and the rate of fire. He's trying to be neutral, but neutral doesn't work with us. We know exactly where to aim. Is he going to burn down? No. We gun him down. And the Iowa is still alive, but it looks like he's gonna die to the friendly torpedo bombers. So that's awesome. Team's doing great so far, but there are still 4 enemy destroyers in the game. That is far too many destroyers. And one of them seems to be over by H10. How did he get over there unnoticed? I tell everyone, let's go after him. I'm going to try and fire on his position, of course. But look at the map. We have absolutely nobody on the western side of the map. There's only one friendly defending the base. That is not good. We have so little information about what the enemy team is actually doing. And it would take a really long time for me to continue towards the Benson. I am confident that I could take out the Benson, but look how many teammates are already invested in the Benson. We've got a friendly cruiser, a friendly destroyer, and a friendly battleship, plus an aircraft carrier. The aircraft carrier should be able to keep him spotted indefinitely. So I was thinking, you know what? The western flank is too vulnerable. I think I'm going to go back and cover it. And this might be a mistake. But I felt like there was just so many friendlies. We had a clear advantage. How could we screw this up? Famous last words, right? How could my team screw up a scenario where it's 4v1 and they have an aircraft carrier with a fighter that can keep the destroyer scouted the entire time? You know, I find myself usually having to be the de facto destroyer hunter, because I don't really see a lot of players being as effective at killing those little buggers as I am in a cruiser. Cruisers are fantastic at killing destroyers. Now, a German cruiser might be a little weaker than a Japanese or an American, but they're still dominant. And this enemy gearing is actually trying to gun down my friendly gearing. And they do. They take out the friendly gearing. The North Carolina is now very vulnerable. He's not designed to fight a destroyer. And I want to head towards his position and try and salvage anything. It kind of looked like the gearing took a torpedo. Yeah, I think he took a torpedo and he didn't have damage control, so he actually flooded to the torpedo. How do you do that, gearing? You had a pretty good neutral stance on the enemy gearing that you took out, but you were unable to avoid those torpedoes. I won't question it. I'm just glad he's dead. But that North Carolina, so far overextended. We've got to get over to his position. There's also a New Orleans that appears to be headed towards the center of the map. So we're going to have some flanking fire on his position. I don't see the corpse of that Benson in the southeast side of the map. Somehow, he has gotten away. How is that happening? I think it's very important, when you're put in a position that you can engage a destroyer. That's exactly what you do, no matter what class you are. They're just too strong. They provide too much intel, too much damage, too much unknown to allow them to exist. And that's exactly what's been happening. I have 3 kills. I think 2 of the 3 kills are on destroyers, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, there's a gearing actually going after the North Carolina. So we have to kind of decide, are we going to have our guns set up to fire on the New Orleans, or are we going to have our guns set up to fire on the gearing? I was thinking about the New Orleans. I would continue moving towards the gearing because honestly 13 kilometers isn't ideal. And look on the minimap, there's another destroyer that's on the opposite side of the friendly aircraft carrier. For whatever reason, my teammates down there are just not doing a good job of playing as a team. You've got battleships leaving their teammates to fend for themselves. You've got cruisers and destroyers that are leaving the aircraft carrier to defend for himself. And the aircraft are not doing a good enough job of keeping enemies spotted who are a huge threat. Look, that's the Benson, just east of my position. He was able to get that far away. Now this gearing, he's not going nowhere. Friendly North Carolina able to do a lot of damage, and we just follow up to take him out. The North Carolina, however, has sustained a lot of damage. only has 16,000 hit points left. Look at that guy. He is still alive. Now I'm going to try and rotate my guns into position in order to engage, since he's spotted. Friendly Tirpitz is taking torpedoes, but I thought he was scouting him just with visual. I didn't expect him to drop off, so we wasted all that turret traverse in order to get the guns in position and find out completely irrelevant. So we're going to try engaging the Mogami. The Mogami, never mind. Mogami's gone. That North Carolina did a great job of one-shotting the Mogami. And I think this torpedo bomber's actually trying to drop on us. That's not going to happen. We're in a Des Moines. You're in a Lexington? Really? You're not going to be able to do that. I don't know why he didn't go for the North Carolina. Maybe he felt like the North Carolina was already dead. And it looks like the North Carolina is going to be dead. Yep, the New Orleans finishes them off. We have to take the New Orleans out, and then we probably have to go after the aircraft carrier. There's no way the aircraft carrier would ever allow us to cap out. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And the friendly cruiser plus the battleship are trying to engage the Benson. He's really giving them the runaround. It's kind of impressive that one destroyer can hold up 2 ships, and we actually lose the aircraft carrier. What is going on? This is not good at all. We get a 3K on the New Orleans. We cause 2 fires, force out damage control. He looked like he was overcorrecting, so we kind of compensated. It looks like it worked out in our favor. We're fine, we're fine. And he turns right back, and that should be the kill shot. There you go. See you later, New Orleans. We earned Kraken Unleashed. But we're behind, both in ships and points. There's an aircraft carrier that's going to be a jerk the entire time. He's somewhere in the northwest side of the map, and that's where we have to go. Now you could argue, why not stay in the capture? Well, I'll tell you why. Because there's going to be aircraft incoming that are going to keep me from capturing the base. Solo captures take like 5 minutes. It's just not possible. When there's an aircraft carrier so close, he's going to recall very quickly. You have to take him out of the fight. Otherwise, he'll just keep you from capturing. So, we've taken 1 dive bomber. We're going to take another one. I'm trying to do my best to avoid any manual drop. I was actually surprised he could get that close to do that much damage. I really was. I was like, I'm a tier 10 U.S. cruiser, and you're telling me that a tier 8 aircraft carrier can get his dive bombers into position to drop on my ship? They did over 2 fires, so I had to use my damage control. But then he's got another one. So we've got to avoid this. Come on! He's also getting a torpedo bomber. Great. Nope. He gets 3. 3 fires with a dive bomber. Are you serious? Premium damage control still on cooldown, 20 seconds, but we're able to pop our defensive fire to take out the torpedo bombers. They're not even going to get a chance. We also earned Confederate, which is great, I guess. We're having to work so hard for any opportunity to even win this game. Now, I don't think I'm going to die to the fires. I'm just going to lose a lot of health. And now we set him on fire. 4K. I really want those fires to prevent him from recalling. He puts it out. He's going to be immune to this salvo, but the next one should stick. And can we get a fire? Now, I've had people go, why don't you use AP? AP's great, right? It is great. You honestly would want to use AP, but I'm just so afraid. We cannot allow him to get out, and there we go. Okay, good. Plus, the rate of fire is so extremely high, we're going to stack up fires pretty quickly. We've basically overcome the threat of death, but how can we overcome the enemy still existing and in the process of capturing our base? We earn high caliber. That's good. There's absolutely no reason to continue firing on his position. He's going to die. We've got to head south as quickly as we can to give our team a chance to win. I've only killed half of the enemy team, but we still have very little chance at winning the game. Now, you shouldn't beat yourself up, okay? You do a great job in the game. You've done pretty much everything you can for your team. Don't be discouraged. by a loss when you do a fantastic job for your team. Just take it as a sign that you have done everything in your power to help your team win the game. And go and apply those skills to the next one, okay? It's really easy to get down on yourself, to feel like, I do everything I can, and literally everything. 6 kills, Kraken Unleashed, Confederate High Caliber. I have read those frustrating comments. I know it's easy to be frustrated, but how can you be frustrated with your performance? And that really should be what matters. You're playing the game for yourself. If you do this kind of job in your game, you're going to win more than you lose. And that's really the most important thing. It looks like there's actually 2 capping, by the way. Look how fast they're actually capping. They started capping probably 2 minutes ago, maybe a minute 30, and they're basically going to capture before the 2:20-second mark. But yeah, 6 kills. The Des Moines is underpowered. I don't believe it. I think you need to play it correctly. It's not a long-range cruiser. It's not a German cruiser. It's not a Japanese cruiser. It's an American cruiser. And range is overrated. We earned Kraken Unleashed, High Caliber, Confederate, I believe that is Arsonist. 6 kills, 2,250 base XP in a loss. We almost outdid the Shimakaze on the enemy team, who did a great job. He was invisible most of the time, doing tons of damage. We did around 135,000 points of damage. I am very happy about this performance. This was the second game in the ship. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.